I won't buy a single item. EU Brexit grandstanding backfires as Britons begin boycott. The Brexit grandstanding from the EU has spectacularly backfired on Brussels, with British citizens already beginning a boycott of goods coming from the bloc. After the Office of National Statistics, ONS, showed the value of goods imported from the European Union had dropped, some readers said they were trying to avoid buying any items from the bloc. In March 2019, imports from the remaining 27 EU member states totaled £25.2 billion, compared with £17.8 billion for the rest of the world. But this year, EU imports have plummeted by nearly 30% to £18.9 billion, while non-EU imports increased slightly by 2.1% to £19.3 billion. This first time the latter has outstripped the former since records began. In a further blow for Brussels following Brexit, the figures, shared by Facts4EU, also reveals a huge year-on-year drop in the value of imports from the EU 27. During the first 3 months of 2019, more than half, 55.9%, of all good imported into the UK came from the bloc's 27 remaining member states. But that has started to dip since then, to 52.9% in the same period last year, and to 48.7% during the 3-month period in 2021. Now readers have revealed they are boycotting products coming from the EU, fueled by outbursts towards Britain during the Brexit negotiations between the two sides and intense scaremongering. Responding to our initial story, one person said, "The EU have spent the last 5 years insulting me and my country. Why on earth would I wish to buy their goods or services? I avoid everything EU at all cost. They have nothing but hatred for me and my fellow Great British people." A second reader wrote, "I am doing my bit and I am not buying EU goods wherever I have a choice. No EU wine, butter or cheese, etc. No EU cars, and when I need new white goods I will make sure they are not from the EU. I definitely check origin of goods to make sure where stuff comes from, so I do not but their goods." Another person commented, "I'm desperately trying to avoid buying anything from the EU where I can." A fourth reader raged, "The hatred from the EU has spurred me on to avoid buying any EU product." One more person fumed, "Put the EU flag on all their produce, watch their business disappear." The UK and EU have been involved in several furious rows since the post-Brexit trade deal was signed on December 31, predominantly around EU fishing access in British waters and the implementation of the Northern Ireland Protocol. Facts4EU's editor-in-chief Lee Evans suggested British consumers are now starting to punish the bloc. He told Express.co.uk, "People still don't feel they're being heard, and many seem to feel disillusioned by those who are supposed to represent them." The 5 years of the often bumpy ride of actually implementing the vote for Brexit and the EU's attitude to this decision have only amplified this feeling. Perhaps as a result, some people have decided to use their economic power to express the strength of their feelings. Mr. Evans added, "Over the past few years we have reported that officials in some EU countries, particularly Germany, have referred to the United Kingdom as Treasure Island. The reason for this is simple. We buy so much from them. Far more than they buy from us, as we have reported in detail many times. It's possible that some people now seem to be voting with their wallets in protest against the EU's behavior towards the UK. All of us have heard people saying how their buying decisions have changed and that they're now trying to avoid buying EU products and services.